2. Mr. Broad, how much is Snowy Hydro on the books for currently, the current investment?
Sorry, how much we spent so far in 2.0?
No, how much is its asset value?
So we have a market cap, the Fed's having bought us at just on 7 million, of which 7 billion, of which 6 billion is equity and roughly a billion worth of debt. The actual asset replacement cost for Snowy 1 would be in the... It's a long time ago, as you might appreciate. The modern asset equivalent of that would probably in that sort of $6 billion order.
And assuming Snowy Hydro is constructed...
Sorry, sir.
Snowy Hydro,
yep.
Snowy 2 is constructed. Yep. What would be the asset value?
So we've modelled out that on the back end of the mid-2025-26, that the value of the company will be up by 20 or 30% over the cycle to 2030 as a result of having existing Snowy and 2.0. We've also modelled that if we don't build Snowy 2.0, we could possibly drop significantly, like 20% in value, because our competitors will enter the market to carve out what has been a traditional market for Snowy 2, for Snowy 1.
So 8-9 billion after construction, something like that?
So we think it'll be, as we've said before, the envelope on cost is somewhere between 3.8 and 4.5. The MJ independent modelling says the economic gain for us is plus 2 billion, so the 2 billion value sits as we see it. So we think in time, our company, now owned by the Commonwealth, will have somewhere around a market cap of closer to 10 to 12 billion years.
10 to 12 billion.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think in answer to a question to Senator Patrick, you said you're looking at 8 to 9% IRR?
Yes.
And on that 10 to 12 billion?
So our traditional rate of return are less than that. As a company, our investment hurdle rates are a little less than that. I don't want to give that away to our competitors, but you know, you can imagine, depending on the risk involved, we've worked this very hard. Unless our internal rates got well over 7.5 for this, we would have struggled to get it up. So we look 8, and given where we've modelled the spread between buy and sell, and that's gone the buy. Given that what we've tested, the markets are a little cheaper, so that's improved. It's been a large part of what's driving the improvement IRR.
Yeah, I want to come back to that in a moment. But so let's suppose 7.5 to 8.5% IRR. I think that's where you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yep. How does that compare with competitors?
So we look at the WACC for our competitors. They sit in the sort of high 6s, 6.8, 6.9.
So it's pretty profitable.
Well, it's risky, so you got to factor in your risk in these things.
I'm going to get onto that.
And you've got to get your returns right. And I think it's a right investment for us to make. Yes.
Presumably, private investors would be interested in owning it as well.
Could do, but we are borrowing money from the market, and the market's very interested in financing us.
So just in terms of the risks, and as you've said twice now, confirmation to Senator Patrick, the viability depends on the price differential in electricity, the cost of sending it up the hill versus the value you gain from selling the electricity when it runs down the hill, to oversimplify it, I think. How risky is the assumption that price differential will be maintained?
So we do that today. We've been pumping in Snowy 1. We're the largest pumped hydro, as well as traditional hydro. So we've been doing that for 20 years.
Pumping it up?
Pumping it up, pumping open T3, down, pumping tomorrow. So we do that. We understand that market really, really well. So it's not unfamiliar ground to us. And so so that's an important part of how we model 2.0 and how we build up that model on the products that we can provide. It's not a one product delivery mechanism. We have 3 or 4 major products that we will sell in the marketplace, not just the time shifting.
Okay. So I'm just thinking in terms of risk here. If 1, 2, 3 major new coal-fired power stations were to be built, and as a consequence, the price differential between different times of the day was reduced, what would that do to the viability of Snowy 2.0?
So again, I might encourage you to read the MJA report, which independently models out how the market may unfold to 2060. And so it looks at all the permutation combinations of that. And given the massive amount of renewables coming into the market, it makes it very hard. If you come up for an investment in a new coal-fired power plant, given the time frame to take to build that and the risk capital you'll have to attach to it, it looks very hard to compete, given prices are often in the zeros or $10 range, and that will come even more. So for us, what we see, not because we're trying to pick a winner here, we see the market unfolding the way it is. These projects we're going to market with are all new projects, all funded by international money. They'll all be in place, so 900 megawatts of these renewables will be in place in 2 years. That will come in, we'll firm up 35% capacity factor in that at prices significantly below the current market for wholesale. So they're going to come into a very robust, competitive market. And the market's unfolding at a pace which I think most people don't seem to appreciate.
Senator Leyonhjelm, do you have many more to go? We're running up against time.
What are we waiting for?
We've got to go to Great Barrier Reef 15 minutes ago.
All right, so I'm just about to finish.
You do?
I'm just about to finish. So on a risk basis, you don't see, and I haven't read the report that you referred to, so I'm a bit like Senator Keneally. I'm looking for a shorthand version. So looking at the risk aspect of it, you don't see any scenario in which the differential between the cost of the power to pump the water uphill and the value of the power as it runs downhill is going to substantially narrow.
So, well, it's all risk, you know, as you would know.
I do understand risk. I'm asking you about the risk.
Yeah,
yes.
so no one's trying to be foolish enough to say it's not without risk. But with the massive amount of renewables coming in the market, what it clearly shows is that there are times when there's massive excess of renewables in the market, which has got to go somewhere. Base loads either got to turn off, or you've got to turn off renewables, or you've got to soak it up in a storage. We will soak it up in a storage. The most likely ones on at that time are the renewables, because the short-run marginal cost for them to operate is zero.
Yeah.
And the short-run marginal cost for black coal today, given coal prices, is significantly higher. Coal prices are up around $140, $150. The short-run marginal cost. The short-run marginal cost of brown coal is still competitive and low, but the old brown coal plants struggle to flex. So we see that in the marketplace. And they're the big drivers of the risks as we see them, and they're the big drivers which we're trying to independently assess and put in the marketplace to independently assess against our analysis so that our judgments can be robust, they can be questioned independently, and we can give, you know, obviously to the board, we've got to be convinced the board that that stacks up as a business case.
All right. Well, just I suppose the obvious observation then in that case is if that's such a robust financial proposition, then perhaps the government can exit the investment and somebody else can run it or own it.
Oh, that's a matter for the shareholders, not for me.
Okay. I thought you might say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
For clarity, the government has no intentions to privatise the Snowy Hydro. Senator Leyonhjelm, I'm sorry to disappoint.
That's this year, Minister, and I do happen to be. I am very conscious of the fact that Snowy Hydro was a very popular project of the former Prime Minister. I'm just wondering if it has the same support. That's enough now on that.
The government remains committed to Snowy Hydro as the new majority 100% owners.
Thank you very much. Senator Leyonhjelm. Senator Hanson-Young.